as I normally do with my presentations, I'm going to take this very seriously, and I would appreciate if you all could do the same. One of the things that's been going on is all these Zoom backgrounds are really getting out of control, and I just wanted to bring up the Brady Bunch here. And I don't know if I turn that way and just look at Marsha. Yes. I'm going to turn that off now. I have to figure out how to do that though. All right, now I'm going to share my screen. So this is, can everybody see my presentation right now?
Yes.
Okay, great, thanks. All right, Paul May with Grand Technology Solutions. We're here to listen, we're ready to help. We do managed IT support for small businesses. There are a lot of companies that do this. We really focus on the 1 to about 20 employees workspace, because we tend to be a lot more hands-on, a lot more coaching, mentoring, process improvement, things like that. So a couple of things. One of the things that I got asked last year from a good friend of mine that knew I was in business and kind of knew what I did, or at least I thought he did. He said, "So you just fix computers and stuff, right?" And that really got me thinking that I kind of need to define for our customers and for the networking referral partners what it is that we do. We do a lot more than fix computers. We're an IT support company for sure. So we do all the security and networks and routers and Wi-Fi and firewalls and PC upgrades and data transfers and Office 365 and all that stuff. But where we really shine is in helping people use technology to grow their business, as opposed to having the technology slow them down with everything. So we're a managed service provider. We do remote monitoring and management is kind of our biggest bread and butter. That RMM acronym is very common in the IT support provider world. Basically, we get a monthly fee from our clients. We provide that kind of support across all of their devices. So laptops, computers, firewalls, servers, VPN, remote access. In addition to mobile devices, we support those as well. A big part of our business is doing Office 365 implementations and email migrations. So you might see people like on Gmail accounts or Yahoo accounts, and they're hosting their domains through those. I'm a very big proponent of using Office 365. It is what the business world uses. And one of the things about it, especially over the last 10 years, is that the days of having a $10,000 server sitting in a closet and in a brick and mortar space, and all your people have desktops that are wired into that server are gone. That server now is up in the cloud. It's secure. It's actually more secure than the old brick and mortar servers. And it gives you and your team the mobility you need to grow your business. That's always important to have that mobility, but especially in today's climate with everything going on. A lot of my clients, it's been kind of exciting to see that they've already been positioned to work in this current environment because they're working off of laptops and mobile devices and other things where they can access the data they need and run their business remotely from anywhere. So like I said before, we do, computer updates, backups, cloud-based file collaboration. We have a bunch of partnerships. These are just some of them where we work with different industry standard vendors. So this is my wife, Kathy. We started the company in 2016. I've got 25 years in the IT world. In my past lives, I have been an IT project manager. I've been a director of IT for a national certification organization with 20,000 members. And right when I came out of college, I was a teacher in Baltimore City for 5 years. And that's really kind of where I get that whole coach mentor mentality. And I kind of morphed that into the IT business. So that to me is a big differentiator. My wife's got 25 years in corporate accounting. She works as a VP of internal controls with TIAA Bank. She's got a really strong background with accounting infrastructure. So between the two of us, we've worked with a lot of companies where I've set up the IT infrastructure. She has set up the accounting infrastructure, and we can get them off and running, kind of a one-stop solution. These are my kids. I have Brian, who's 37, Caitlin, who's 26, and Maggie, who's 23. I have a dumb dog that is down at my feet right now begging to come up. And I have one psycho cat named Macy who refused to be in the photograph. So a case study real quick, a couple of stories, if you will. So one of my clients is called Vista Reinsurance Intermediaries. They are based in St. Augustine. They've got offices in other locations and users in other locations. So this is a good example of the mobility I was talking about. In the old days, you used to have a firewall in each location that allowed a VPN connection to each connection, and you had to have, you know, T1 data lines set up and pay all this money. And now everybody just needs their own internet connection, and through the tools that we have, we can set people up to have that collaboration right at their fingertips. So they were using iCloud for file collaboration and really struggling with that. They had some computers that were out of date. They were using web-based email. They were only logging into the web, which really limited their interaction with Microsoft tools. Very limited antivirus, nothing going on in the way of backups, and their Office products were out of date. So this is Phil as he was working in his environment. It may not actually be Phil. This was him prior to working with Grand Technology Solutions. And then what we did is we implemented Office 365. So it's secure. He's got about 6 employees. There's cloud collaboration in place, shared calendars, shared contacts, the ability to work from anywhere. We replaced some out-of-date computers, transferred data. We migrated all of their email over from a GoDaddy web-based platform over to Office 365, and we set them up with a full protection package, which, you know, antivirus, malware, et cetera. The other thing we do a lot with our clients is we kind of serve as an advocate for them for vendors, tech-related vendors like internet service providers, cell providers, CRMs, things like that, QuickBooks. We do a lot of work supporting people with QuickBooks. In just as an example, one session I did with them when we were looking at their AT&T wireless bill, we were able to save them $1,500 in annual operating expenses on that because they were paying for an account they didn't even know existed. And we discovered that and found it and pointed it out, called AT&T, and I was like, so when's the last time the user logged in with this account? And they're like, never, sir. Yeah, okay, so that we were able to resolve that. So this is Phil, may not actually be Phil, who actually does have a 40-foot boat that he loves to work from. So I've worked with him to show him how to connect his laptop to his phone's hotspot. And because he's got that Office 365 environment in place, that platform established, he's able to use that hotspot as an internet connection, come in from his computer, get access to all of their resources. So the files and folders, shared calendars, his email, you know, banking. We've got TLS encryption set up for banking for them. So he can really, truly run his business from anywhere. Another quick case study, WFOY down in St. Augustine, News Talk 102.1 is one of our clients. And when I first started working with her, the computers were out of date. She had some serious problems with low disk storage, creating performance issues. We ended up needing to do a Wi-Fi overhaul with them because it was so slow. Unable to send email from their iPhone, so that cut off their mobility right there. Very limited backups and limited antivirus and anti-malware solutions. So this was Chris Phillips prior to working with Grand Technology Solutions. Again, that may not actually be Chris. And then here's what we did. We removed applications. We replaced their old Wi-Fi router with a tri-band gigabit router. We resolved some wireless printer connectivity issues. We set them up for our full protection package, and then we have a computer replacement plan in place with them. A lot of people can't afford to just do the upgrades willy-nilly, you know, but when you've got computers with 4 gigabytes of memory that are 6 or 7 years old, you have to have a plan. So we try to help our customers piecemeal that together. And actually, Derek and I have talked in the past about working together for financing to help customers do that. And this is Chris Phillips, who, that's actually her face there, after working with Grand Technology Solutions. So how our ProNet team can help. So what I'm looking for, small businesses, 1 to 20 is a really good number for us, 1 to 20 employees, or a startup with very little in place for IT. People have multiple internet accounts and they're just like all over the place with it and feel like they're checking email from many different sources. One of the things we do is try to help people consolidate those accounts into one account. It's very simple to set up forwards from other emails so that those that mail handling can all happen from one account. Mom and pop businesses, 2 to 10, it's actually 2 to 20, I would say now. People who have been turned off by impersonal, rude, or incompetent IT companies. How to introduce, I know a great company you can trust. They're great for small businesses and they focus more on people than computers. That's a real thing for us is that we're really focused on the people. Listen for things like my email's down, acting up, my computer's so slow, can't keep track of all these crazy accounts that I have. You guys have heard me talk about a flag to look for in the past, which is if you've got a company like Paul's Plumbing Company at gmail.com or Paul's Plumbing Company at yahoo.com. A lot of companies will have those kind of emails, but they'll have an email domain in place like www.paulsplumbingcompany.com. A couple of things about that. One, it gives you, it's not as professional to your customers when they see a Gmail or a Yahoo. It kind of comes across as amateur. Number two, it is definitely not secure to use those free accounts. And number three, by enabling a domain-based email product, you can put in place a platform where your team can really collaborate. Anybody's talking about being worried, especially right now with everything going on, people working from home, there's a lot of people struggling. So if you hear anything along those lines, please feel free to reach out to them. So one thing I wanted to add here, this is I think my last slide. Working remotely right now with everything going on, just a couple of things to talk about. I talked about why it's important for team mobility. It was important beforehand, but now with everybody working from home, it's critical to have good resources in place. There are lots of security issues with Zoom and especially TeamViewer. A lot of people are using TeamViewer free accounts and they are setting up what's called a persistent connection with a free account. That's just an open door waiting for a hacker. We could, if people need help with accessing internet from their home or remote location, don't forget that a lot of cell phone plans allow for hotspots that you can connect your computer to. Right now, it is critical that data needs to be backed up. People are frenzied, scared, and they're making bad mistakes because they're frenzied and scared and crazy busy. There's tons of phishing attacks going on. There's COVID-19 related scams. And we can help you with firewall and VPN tools for that as well. Last thing with Zoom in particular, a lot of people have been dealing with what's called Zoom bombing, where they're posting public connection info, like a group will post on Facebook or post on a website, join our Zoom session. And then, I mean, it's even to a point where kids in school situations are getting Zoom bombed, where people jump in, post really inappropriate things, hateful comments. So the 3 things to avoid all that: number 1, when you create your Zoom meeting, set the Zoom meeting as private. Number 2, require a password for Zoom meetings. When you require the password and send it out, it actually comes in as part of the URL. So you don't really need to enter the password, but it's good to require it. And then don't post those connections on or info on public resources like websites and social media. And that is it. Any questions? You can go back to that gallery view, by the way.
So just about the last one you said.
Uh-huh.
the Zoom required password, and as you said, that's what happens. The URL gets the password inside it, right?
Yes.
So, how if you really want to make give a password that they should be able to only enter if they know the password. How would that?
It actually embeds into the URL. In my experience, I don't know if anybody else has done it, but in my experience, it does not prompt you for the password. It just
That is correct. That is correct. But if I want my attendees to actually enter it, I mean, I want the Zoom to actually prompt for the password.
I can check that out and see if I can figure out if that really happens, but I don't think it does. I think it just embeds the password in the URL.
So that's, yeah.
From what I've been able to tell, if they don't click the link, but they enter the Zoom ID in, then it'll ask for the password then.
Okay, cool.
That's the only way that they have to type the password in it. Only if they manually enter the Zoom ID in, then it's going to ask them for the password. But if they click the link, the password, like Paul is saying, the password's in the link.
That makes sense. Makes sense. All right, guys, we have 2 minutes. Anything else? Anybody? Anything else?
Oh, real quick, in public, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Mark.
In public places like say we do a lot of stuff in Starbucks and Panera, is it safer instead of using their internet access, their Wi-Fi, to use, like I've got a hotspot on my phone? Is that any safer?
100%.
Okay.
I'm at a point now where I've made sure that my AT&T cell plan, it's not unlimited data, but it's really just my wife and me now. I no longer have 3 kids on my data plan, so life gets a little bit better with that. But I would suggest very strongly that you either pay for unlimited data or the highest plan you can afford and use your hotspot more often than not. Starbucks, hospitals, guest Wi-Fi's in office buildings and stuff. I would say a majority of them are careful and locked down, but there are quite a few out there that, I had a client last year that stayed in a motel, and the next day they started getting emails from Russian hackers after being on that motel's Wi-Fi. So 100%. I'm glad you brought that up. That's a really good point. When in doubt, use your phone's hotspot.
Yeah. And somebody that can help with that too is Matt Weatherly, the Verizon guy. So I had just my personal cell phone on Verizon on a personal line, and I was paying like $120 a month or something, and that was for a small amount of data, like 5 gigs of data. I was able to jump over to a business line, add a tablet and my daughter's phone, and the tablet is not unlimited, but my phone and my daughter's phone are both unlimited, and I'm still paying, I think I'm still paying less than I was paying for my single private line. So yeah, Matt Weatherly is the man when it comes to that. He's really good at what he does. He specializes in the business side, which you will not find at a Verizon store unless you happen to go to his store and talk to him. So
thing when you're ready.
yeah, go ahead.
So back to the connecting with a hotspot, a lot of people are paying for third-party VPN connections, like NordVPN is a pretty popular product right now. And those are good programs for providing secure transfer of data. Like if you're a lawyer and you want to send data to a client and you want to make sure that stays protected, that's a good option. The thing is that people are doing is they're going into a Starbucks, a hotel Wi-Fi, they're connecting to the Wi-Fi and then turning on their VPN tool and thinking, okay, I'm connected to VPN, so I'm safe. But that whole time, they're still connected to the hotel's Wi-Fi. So during the time that they're on that VPN, that hotel Wi-Fi could be hacking into their computer. It might not see the encrypted data they're sending over that VPN connection. So like Mark said, 100% I agree, connecting to your phone's hotspot is a good option.
Cool. All right, we're a couple minutes over, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I know other people have other calls to get to and things like that. So your thought for the week is, if you are not willing to risk the usual, you will have to settle for the ordinary. So, all right, guys. I did get nice ball. I did. This is recorded. So anyway, all right, guys, have a great week. I'll talk with y'all soon.
Thanks, guys.
Take
Take
care,
care.
everybody.
Guys, you guys have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, good night, guys.